Hey, how's it going, everyone, and happy Saturday. Well, firstly and foremost, today is a very crazy day for myself. I actually was going to be playing some golf today. Glorious Saturday, and it literally started to downpour as I was getting ready to leave my house. So, here I am recording another educational stock market video. No complaints at all. I actually was going to record this tomorrow, but hey, I may end up playing some golf tomorrow since it's utterly thunderstorming today. So, welcome if you are new. If you are new to this YouTube channel or me in general, I've been on YouTube for 18 plus years. My main YouTube channel, NightmareRH, 200,000 plus subscribers. It's a video game channel, primarily RuneScape. This YouTube channel, NightmareRH Bull 17, it's relatively new. Been making videos on here pretty much nonstop since November of last year, 2025. So roughly about 8 months and some change-ish. I am doing a public profile challenge. My public profile I showed in yesterday's video or the day before. If you just click on my videos tab, if you want to definitely check that out. I am a growth investor. I'm also a American bull. I believe in America long term. I'm not a bear. Don't have any short positions, put positions. Very much long, many phenomenal companies. And today I very much want to talk about stuff that I do on a daily basis, even on the weekends, on a daily basis. A lot of people may argue you don't have to necessarily really do this on like the weekends, but I beg to really differ. And every Saturday on this YouTube channel, I'm going to be releasing free educational content. I've been in the stock market now for 6+ years. I've made a tremendous amount of life-changing money by really sticking to basic, just core, fundamental principles. And those principles may seem a little cheesy, a little deezy, but I mean, ultimately, if you stick to something that works for you, I'm not a financial advisor. I just go ahead and post what I'm personally thinking and what I'm also doing. And I encourage every person out there to make a strategy that works for you. But when you make that strategy that works for you and understand that my strategy may not work for other people because I very much dabble in growth companies primarily. But if you create a strategy that is going to produce you wealth and you just keep replicating that strategy time in and time in and time in again, you're going to be winning, and it's going to be like, hey, I just won here, there. Okay, I got to take a loss. Okay, but I got like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wins compared to the one loss, okay? I have taken losses publicly on this YouTube channel. I've talked about them, and my win-win chicken dinners right now are utterly rock and rolling. So today's educational content, like I said, it might be a little cheesy, but it's something that if you are going to be invested or if you're going to be trading a company, yes, even if you are not taking a long-term position, if you're trading a company, you should still be doing this. You really should. Even if you are looking to day trade a company, buying a stock early in the morning, selling it in the afternoon, or you very well could be in like in honestly a couple minutes. It's called scalping. Very quick momentum day trading. But you got to be following that company, and you got to be knowing when the company might be dropping some good news. You got to really see how the company reacts. You got to very much look at the company in the long-term future if you are a long-term investor. If you are a trader, you got to really be looking for momentum style plays. So there's a lot of things that goes into a strategy, but something that I do every single day, and yes, I am going to be using SoFi as an example in today's video, but I get into a daily routine. I do this for every single stock I own, even if I own a stock for a short period of time. If I own a stock maybe less than a year, less than 6 months, maybe less than 3 months, I'm still doing this. And like I said, this might be a little cheesy, especially to very well-rounded investors, traders out there. Not to mention, in the second half of today's video, I'm going to be talking about some strategies, or a strategy that I use to very much get into growing stocks, or rather growth companies, taking a long position. And I'm going to be using SoFi as an example of pretty much why I decided to take a long-term investment very much into the company. So, what do I do every single day? Every single day, what do? I look at 4 key things, okay? Firstly and foremost, if you want the most accurate information, you should always be fact-checking and questioning everyone, especially on YouTube. Question me, fact-check me. If you're unsure about something I say, look it up. I challenge you. Please do your due diligence. Don't take my word for it. I'm not God. There's been times where I've been wrong, and you gotta do your due diligence at the end of the day. So, if something big comes out on a company, the most accurate place to find it is their investor relation page. Every publicly traded company, they must have an investor relation page. Even if a company is not profitable, they have an investor relation page. It's part of being a publicly traded company. Everything has to be transparent. Now, are there going to be companies that are going to be scams? Enron is a very notorious big market cap scam. Oh, yes. Now, there are penny stock companies out there that are very much scams as well, too. But their investor relation page is going to give you the most accurate information. So let me go ahead and say this scenario, for example. Let's say it's you're living in a Eastern Standard time zone, right? EST, EDT, whatever you want to call it. And you wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and you see that your stock is down by 20%. Whoa, what is going on here? What would I do, and what have I done? Go on their investor relation page immediately. Immediately go to their investor relation page, without a doubt. Okay, something got posted maybe, or maybe there's there could be something external, such as a short report being posted, which I'll get to more momentarily. But maybe they ended up dropping earnings. Like SoFi dropped earnings a couple days ago. I woke up and SoFi dropped their earnings at 7 a.m. I ended up waking up around 7:20, 7:30-ish, and the stock was down by 5%. I immediately went to their investor relation page. I looked at their earnings. Okay, I like what I see. Obviously, the algos, they don't like it. I bought more shares. Hey, okay, it's a buy the dip opportunity in my opinion, right? Now, on the flip side, let's say you wake up and your stock is up by 20, 30%. Same exact thing. Go on the investor relation page. Hey, did the company drop news? Oh, wow, the company dropped really good news. Okay, that's pretty awesome. So the investor relation page, I go on every single stock that I own. I go on to their investor relation page daily. I have the investor relation pages saved in a book tab, a bookmark on my web browser. And this is the first thing that I look for every single day. Hey, did the company drop any news? Did they drop any SEC filings, which I'll get to more momentarily? Okay, nothing really new is here. Okay, I'm going to move on. Nextly, the second thing that I go on is I go on to a website called Stock Titan. I'm not being sponsored by Stock Titan whatsoever. I'm not affiliated, but I do really enjoy their website. So Stock Titan tends to post a lot of external news. So if it's not directly from the company itself, Stock Titan will sometimes honestly put it into the news category. So let's say if a big company does does like a review or something on SoFi, obviously it's not SoFi news directly, but it is related to SoFi. Stock Titan could very well have it under the news category. So I use Stock Titan very well. It's like a double-checking source. A lot of people may not do this, but I certainly do a double-checking standard. The third website that I go on to every single day is I go directly on the NASDAQ websites. And on the NASDAQ website, you can see the SEC filings. SEC filings are very tricky for a lot of people. You got to be in the market for a while to very much get well-rounded with them. I got in the market March of 2020, so 6+ years. And I honestly didn't pay attention to SEC filings really up until, like, I want to say the later of 2022. 2020, 21, I really didn't know what I was doing in the market, but I made a tremendous amount of money because all I did was buy the Rona down stocks. 2022, I learned all of this stuff. I learned fundamental analysis. I learned how to value companies, how to read their financial statements. I understood how just everything affects companies, just anything on their balance sheet. Their top line revenue growth, their expenses, cost of expenses, how their EBITDA margins are affected, just every single thing. Later in the end of the year, that's when I really actually started diving into like SEC filings. Probably should have done that near like the beginning of 2022, but SEC filings are very important. They tell you if a company is diluting shares. They tell you if a company is making some big changes, like if people are selling their shares, if people are buying their shares. They give you a lot of broader perspective. Like, the way you have to think of an SEC filing is anytime a company makes a change, they have to file it with, like, pretty much the SEC. Think of it as like social media. Every single time a content creator does something to update their channel, I post on social media. So the SEC filings, in theory, are a way to very much, like, put information out there to the public. I have seen CEOs actually write letters to shareholders and put it as an SEC filing. Oh, yes. So if a CEO issues a statement to shareholders, it could be an SEC filing. So just in case I miss an SEC filing on their website, or if it's not loaded yet on their website, sometimes the SEC filings won't be loaded right away on a company's website. It will actually be on the SEC website or potentially the NASDAQ website. So I like to really cross-check, many different avenues out there. Now, the last thing that I do is I just basically type into Google SoFi stock news. And I look for articles that maybe are not really on, like, the company's website. I'll go ahead and, if I like what I see, skim through. If I don't, I kind of really ignore it. A lot of articles, honestly, are really garbage. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of articles could very well pump the stock. A lot of articles can dump the stock. It works, in either direction. So if you are going to be invested, or if you're going to be trading companies or even day trading companies, I highly encourage that you set up a system every single day. Every single day, set up a system where you are checking the website of the company, you are checking the SEC filings, you're checking news, you're checking everything. I do this every single day. Every day. I'm not kidding. If you are from my video gaming channel, you probably know I'm a very OCD human being. I do this every single day. 365 days out of the year, every single day. Even on the holidays, even on weekends, I do this. How long does it take me to go through 16 companies? So I own publicly, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 publicly, and seven not publicly on my private profile. Every single day, I go through every single one. I have bookmarks on my pretty much web browser. How long does it take me to go through all my companies? Literally, it takes me about under, I want to say, 5 minutes. Yes, 5 minutes being very, very super conservative. If I want to be, like, super liberal, I could very well go through everything, maybe in around, I want to say 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. Ask yourself this question. Is 5 minutes out of your day, is that worth it? Because yeah, it's definitely worth it. If you own, let's say maybe 30 companies, let's say your profile is very, very large, right? Very, very large, very diverse, right? And you're going through 30 companies every single day. It's literally just a couple more clicks. Okay, obviously not a couple more clicks. You're talking 30, let's say times 4. You're talking about 120 clicks. Obviously, you can bookmark all the websites and you can just get into a rhythm. Okay, maybe not 5 minutes. Maybe it can take you 10 minutes. But this is the stuff that you have to do. You have to do your due diligence. And what this will allow you to do is develop a following mentality and a following skill set that is not going to let you forget, and it's not going to let you miss what companies, your companies that you own, are doing. Because when you are a shareholder, you are part of the company. Oh yes, you are part of the company. I'm part of SoFi, AMD, Robinhood, Palantir, Meta, ServiceNow, Coinbase, Netflix, and Ethereum. Gotta own some crypto, right? So, yes, I am theoretically part of the company. Now, is it really cheesy to do this? It is, but I'll go ahead and tell you this. Think of this. Think of this situation. What if, hypothetically, you go ahead and take 1 week off from following everything? What if your companies are posting stuff during that 1 week? Now you got to play catch up. I went on vacation a couple weeks ago, actually about a month ago now. I went on vacation near a month ago for about a week, and I was literally doing this in my hotel rooms. I was literally doing this because I was driving cross country, and I was literally doing this at like stops and stuff, okay, like rest stops. So you gotta be doing this. This is very common sense. It's very annoying. I understand it. But if you are a repetitious human being like me, and especially if you're going to be in the stock market, you got to follow your companies. Even when you're on vacation, you got to be seeing what they're doing. It doesn't take that long. It just is honestly a couple clicks. That's all it is. You go to their website, you do a Google search. Okay, SoFi is good. I'm going to move on to AMD. AMD's good. I'm going to move on to Robinhood, Palantir, Meta, ServiceNow, Coinbase, Netflix, any Ethereum news, crypto. Okay, I'm good. Hey, I'm good. That's it. I honestly, I really love doing this stuff. I'm very passionate, and I love rambling on as well, too. So hopefully this definitely does help any newer, very much investors in the market. So second half of today's video, I want to talk about why I get into some stocks like I do, and I do want to talk about why I definitely got into SoFi. So SoFi is a massive position for me. The first shares that I actually bought was actually February 2nd, 2024, and I've been a shareholder since. And I thought it was February 21st. I'm pretty sure I said February 21st in several videos. February 2nd, 2024, I pulled the trigger on buying some shares for the first time. And this is on my private account, my Robinhood account. My public account is my Webull account. Two great brokerage that I highly recommend. If you are new to the stock market, highly recommend checking out Robinhood. I don't have a coupon code, or I'm not affiliated with them. I do apologize. Plus, I don't think they even offer anything for content creators. Same thing with Webull as well, too. Webull is very much more trader, day trading friendly, I will say. But you can very much trade on day trade and do trades on Robinhood, too. So, yeah, I ended up buying shares for the first time at SoFi February 2nd, 2024. Why? I'm a growth investor. So I am on SoFi's earnings. I got these directly from SoFi's website. And what do you notice about their earnings per share? A CAGR, compound annual growth rate. That is what the company is projecting to grow year over year. Just in case if you ever see anyone on like TV or YouTube say, well, SoFi or any company out there, their CAGR is 28%. Their CAGR is 30%, right? Compound annual growth rate year over year. That's what a CAGR is. So earnings per share, 2023. What do you pretty much like see down here? 2022. It's the bar. It's negative. Very much negative, right? Yes, a company can have negative earnings per share. If you are in the penny stock realm, this is very much like nothing new for you. Let me just say, a company can have negative earnings per share. That means a company is not either they're not like net profitable, they're spending too much money, they're not producing any money as well too, right? You go into the penny stock realm, oh boy, yeah, you're gonna find every financial like on a penny stock is just gonna be like trash. But when a company does that flip, it signals for me, hey, I'm a growth investor. This company is going on a long-term cycle. And so for me, I very much saw their forward guidance. I very much was paying attention to SoFi, honestly, throughout 2023. And I said, you want to know what? They're utterly crushing it now, especially with every single metric. And I'm going to take a long position. Yes, I'm definitely going to be taking a very much long position. And I'm gonna start buying shares. Gonna start investing into this company. Obviously, October, very much earnings per share, as we saw, but very much January. I remember this earnings very, very clear. Back on Monday, 29 January 2024, earnings per share, very much in the green. Previous quarter, obviously, very much not so much. Even the previous quarters before, you could still be in the green, but still very much be negative. So I ended up listening to this conference call, which if you're going to be invested in companies, you got to be listening to their conference calls. I know it's boring. It sucks. I honestly play video games while I listen to conference calls. But you got to be listening to conference calls. And I was listening to Anthony Noto, and I'm like, okay, hey, let me go ahead and see what happens after earnings. They went up, and then the following day, Tuesday, they started selling off. And then Friday, February 2, it was a green day, and I said, you want to know what? I'm gonna start buying some shares and basically pretty much accumulating shares. SoFi, for the longest time, on a technical analysis basis, was in a falling wedge, is what I have drawn out on the chart right here. Pretty much a falling wedge is pretty much you take all the highs and you just draw an entire wedge line down. And it took us a very long time to break out of this. And then when we did finally, well, it's, the rest is history. Obviously, SoFi has had a lot of pullback because of the macro environments, but that is why I took a long position in SoFi, is because the company, they did an earnings per share flip. They went from negative to positive. That is one of my strategies for making investments in growth companies. Now, if you are new to this channel, I do talk about this a lot. My average on SoFi on my private account, I don't mind sharing, $7.41. I'm up tremendously. I own 1,642 shares, massive position. I ended up filling that position to 1,500 shares, and I just kept buying more and more bonus shares. Obviously, I bought more shares of SoFi on my public account a couple days ago, and hey, if SoFi stock price is going to be playing games, my strategy is very simple. So today's educational video was really two things. One, going over a daily routine that I really believe everyone should really do for all their companies out there. And also very much having a strategy of why you get invested in stocks. My strategy revolves primarily around earnings per share growth for SoFi. And for the long term, I see their earnings per share continuously growing along with everything about the company. So that's really what I'm thinking, what my mindset is there too. Obviously, there's so much more that goes into it. I can talk about SoFi for 2 hours if I really wanted to. But I'm going to wrap up today's video with this. Stay motivated, especially if you are new to the stock market. The stock market's a scary place right now, which is why, in my opinion, it's a buying opportunity, especially for great, phenomenal companies. All right, later, everyone. New video on this channel on Monday. Take it easy, and later. Oh, yes, and by the way, should have said this before. There's going to be a playlist down below of all my educational videos playlist I have. Definitely check that out if you got time. Otherwise, super later.